Hey everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of wari-Q, a place where we answer frequently asked questions about life, questions that you and I ask quite often, and we would love to have a place where the answers are always available. Today's question is something that I get asked a lot. Should I become an entrepreneur? Should I start my own business? Should I start up? And it's a valid question to ask because we're living in an era, we're living at a time where it is actually very cool to start up. It's really cool to become an entrepreneur. It's really cool to run your own company. And that's a big departure from the time when I started back in 2009. Because in 2009, when I started, the only reason why you started up is because you perhaps didn't get a job out of college. Like, why else would you start your own business when there are enough and more companies out there to give you a job? It's only because you didn't get a job. And now, in 2020, everyone's starting up. Everyone desires to start up because it's, of course, become part of popular culture. It is something that's not looked down upon. It's become a legitimate profession now. There are enough and more success stories of remarkable, smart entrepreneurs who have made it big, created very large companies. And we, of course, see all of that. We hear all of that. And we tend to fall for the glamour. We tend to fall for everything that stands behind this. And my job today in answering this question is to demystify the entire journey of what an entrepreneur goes through. Because at the end of it, honestly, most of us think that an entrepreneur is someone who's building his or her startup and is raking in the money, like literally sitting on dollars and millions and billions of dollars, is raising money, is building fancy offices, is of course running this company and like this cool CEO and just moving around in business class flights and staying in hotels and so on. And the truth cannot be farther away from that. Because I think the biggest question that people don't ask themselves is, why do you want to become an entrepreneur? It's a great question to answer of how do you become one or should you become one, but the larger question to ask, which I always ask myself when anything new comes my way, is why do you want to become an entrepreneur? Like, just make a list of everything that you feel is something you want to get out of this journey. And quite a lot of people say that they want to become an entrepreneur or they want to start up because they want to make money. And that's a very fair way of thinking about it. But here's the truth. The truth is that your likelihood or the probability of you making money if you are an entrepreneur or a startup founder is far, 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 far lesser than you working in a normal job for the rest of your life. You're far likelier to make more money if you're just working in a job than if you become a startup founder. Because here's how it works. It's not that everyone who starts up makes money. There are very, very, very few, a very small percentage of founders or startups that eventually become big and make money. But a whole lot of them do not succeed. So the odds are actually against you. But if you do hit that odd, it's remarkable success. The way to think about this is the following. If you had a 10% chance of making $10,000 and a 90% chance that you will make zero, the natural outcome or the expected outcome for you is $1,000, which is 90% into $0 plus 10% into $10,000. So on an average, everyone will end up making $1,000. That's how the math works. But it's only 10%, right? Only in 10% of the cases do you make $10,000, but in 90% of the cases you make nothing. You make nothing. As against, if you had a scenario, call it a job and a normal job at that, where you have 50% chance of you making $1,000 and a 50% chance of you making $3,000. So there's a 50% chance of you making 1,000 and a 50% chance of you making 3,000. There as well, there is the average outcome of $1,000, which is 50% of 1,000 plus 50% of 3,000. And you are at the same expected level of income. But the game's completely changed. You now have a far higher chance of making $3,000, which is not as high as the $10,000 if you were to become a startup founder, but it's still very high chance. And that's how the real world works. If you want to make money when you want to become a startup founder, the odds of making that is far, far, far lesser. You have to make the company work. Then you have to get it to a point where the product market fit is there. Then you have to get it to a point where you're able to raise money. Then you have to get it to a point where you're able to grow with that money. Then you're able to get to a point where it becomes large enough for an exit, maybe an IPO or a sale. And that is when someone eventually sees money or makes money out of it. The other case will be, I want to become my own boss. That the reason I want to become an entrepreneur is I want to become my own boss. And there as well, it's not as glamorous as you would think. Because at the end of it, the reality is the day you raise money from someone, and that is a higher probability that you will, there is a boss that you have. And that boss or that someone that you have to be responsible towards, accountable towards, is your investor. You have to, in some way, oblige. You have to, in some way, understand and hear them out, because at the end of it, they have put in their own hard-earned money to make your business run. And you have a moral and a fiduciary responsibility towards them to make the business run. So it's all said and done, while you may think that you are your own boss, there's always this layer above you that is in some way, whether directly or indirectly, influencing you and making you do things, or at least nudging you to consider things that may not be in your mind or how you want to run the business. And that may create a conflict. It may create a situation where it doesn't make you entirely happy, but is a reality. There are often times when people say, I want to become an entrepreneur because it's the joy of making a product work. It's the joy of building something and seeing it become successful. It is a joy. I don't deny that one bit. After having been an entrepreneur for 10 years, I can tell you that there are very few things in life that give you as much joy as building something and seeing it go live in the market and people appreciating it. But that journey is extremely hard. It's not easy to come by. It takes a lot. In fact, one of my best quotes that I personally feel is, if someone asks, what does it take to become successful as a startup founder? And the answer is everything. Every possible thing. Like anything that you can imagine, it takes that and more to become a successful startup founder. So you have to give it your all. You have to give your life to it. You have to give your mental peace at times. You have to give your mental stability at times. You have to give away your hours. You have to give away even your money. You have to give away a lot of the relationships that you may have built, which will be sidetracked or may be sidelined, because you're in this journey of building something which is extremely complex. And you're not going to get it the right time, the first time itself. You're not going to get it right the first time itself. It's going to be hard. You will release the product, realize it's not working. You'll have to make another change and another change and another change. And through that, you will eventually get to a product that hopefully works. But that journey is fulfilling, but extremely demanding. So step back and ask yourself, why is it that you want to become an entrepreneur? What is the guiding light in you that makes you tempted to start that, to consider that? And when I went through these things, which is, I want to be an entrepreneur because of money, I want to do it because I want to be my own boss, and I want to do it because it's the joy of creating something from scratch. Yes, those are very valid reasons. Yes, those are very legitimate reasons, but do understand the reality behind them. Do understand the nuances behind them, because it's not as hunky-dory as it's made out to be. It's not as clean and clear as it make out to be. If you have got to this point, the next big question is, how do you actually start up? And I recognize that that was the core question of whether you should start up or not. And the answer to me is never as scientific as you would want it to be. The answer to me is very personal. It's everyone's individual choice of whether they want to become an entrepreneur or not. But once they do decide that, hey, here were the reasons why I wanted to become an entrepreneur, and I think those reasons still hold, I will want to take a bet on them. I would want to go ahead and do something that makes me at least experiment with this and see where it goes. The next then step is, how do you actually go about building a startup? And that's a question which is an entirely different wari-Q episode, and I will pick that up at the right time. But if you have any other reasons why you think someone should consider becoming an entrepreneur or have a startup founder or have a startup, then please do write it in the comment section below. Let's discuss and deliberate on this. If you are a startup founder, I would love to know about your journey and what is it that you had in mind when you started up and how is that different from where you are today. And if you're someone who's considering starting up, then I'd also love to know how, if beyond these things you have something else in mind of why do you want to consider starting up. Until next time and next episode of wari-Q, I wish you all the best. Thanks. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that whenever we put up a new video, you're aware of it.